Welcome to episode 71 of the 3 Fear podcast. In 1920, Carl Riddle, who was the city manager and superintendent of West Palm Beach, bought the house and made it his family home. And that is how the house is now called the Riddle House. It is named after Carl Riddle. At first, everything was nice and quiet for the family. But as time went on, the family started experiencing numerous unexplained and ghostly disturbances. Now, with all these supernatural troubles, a human tragedy also took place in the house. It was said that one of Carl Riddle's employees was in deep financial debt. He fell into depression, and one day he went to the attic and ended his life. His body was found the next day, hanging among the rafters. Already the house had a very bad history of being haunted, and now the suicide only put more fuel to fire.
Hello and welcome to the 3 AM Fear podcast. I'm Nikita Ferrao, mystery and thriller author. On this podcast, I talk about real crimes and real people. Due to the graphic nature of some of this content, listener discretion is advised. You can find the episode show notes on my website 3amfear.com. Let's get started.
The Riddle House, now infamous, has a history that dates back to 1905 when it was built by Henry Flagler, a successful hotel owner. Located in West Palm Beach, Florida, this charming Victorian-style house sits right next to the shadowy Woodlawn Cemetery. Originally, it was meant to be a mortuary and a funeral parlor, and that's why it is said that this location gives out a very eerie vibe. Now, despite its lively and colorful exterior, earning its nickname, the Painted Lady, the house was quite grim. Woodlawn Cemetery was the final resting place for many wealthy people, and at that time, mostly these wealthy people would be buried with their gold or their precious belongings with them. It was as if giving them a chance to take their wealth with them to the other side, or at least that's what I believe. And because of this, a lot of grave robbers would be found in that area. Now, in order to solve this problem, which is the rising amount of grave robbers, the Riddle House was turned into a gatekeeper's cottage. As it was right next to the cemetery, you would have these security guards who checked the area non-stop, 24/7. If anyone tried to rob a grave, the security guards were already there, waiting for them. Now, the house was already associated with the dead, but at the same time, it was rumored to be built on an ancient Native American burial ground, and that added to its creepy reputation. Now, things took a dark turn in the 1920s when a security guard named Buck met a violent end inside the house. Some say that he died in a fight with the grave robbers, while the others believe that he was killed during an argument with a cemetery visitor. No matter what the story was, Buck was killed, and then people started saying that somehow his spirit was stuck there and it haunted the property. After Buck's death, the house got this reputation of being haunted. Many people started saying that they could see a ghost. It was as if people were interested in the supernatural, and at the same time, the story of Buck's death brought in some more context to the story. In 1920, Carl Riddle, who was the city manager and superintendent of West Palm Beach, bought the house and made it his family home. And that is how the house is now called the Riddle House. It is named after Carl Riddle. At first, everything was nice and quiet for the family. But as time went on, the family started experiencing numerous unexplained and ghostly disturbances. Now, with all these supernatural troubles, a human tragedy also took place in the house. It was said that one of Carl Riddle's employees was in deep financial debt. He fell into depression, and one day he went to the attic and ended his life. His body was found the next day, hanging among the rafters. Already the house had a very bad history of being haunted, and now the suicide only put more fuel to fire. The staff at the house would say that they could hear chains rattling on the stairs and murmuring voices. Many of the staff members quit and never returned again, all out of fear. After this sorrowful event, more and more paranormal occurrences would happen. The family members and staff reported seeing the ghost of the deceased employee. They would sometimes say that they could see those shadowy figures drifting through the halls. There were so many things happening. Lights would flicker without reason, chilling sounds like chains, whispers, anything haunting related that you could think of. People said that they heard or felt it. At first, the Riddle family tried their best to find out what was happening, but in the end, even they couldn't get rid of it. They were so overwhelmed with all this disturbance that they decided that the house that they once loved the most in their life, they were going to leave that house. In the years that followed, the house changed hands many times. Many people would come and stay. The house was not just a house. At one point, it was turned into a county hospital. It had a tuberculosis ward. It was also turned into a local mental asylum. It was a commercial shop, a private residence, a dormitory for students. It turned into multiple things, but no one stayed at the house for a long time. It would be a short amount of time, something would happen, and then the person would just leave the house and go. No one knew why this was happening. It was as if the house didn't want anyone to stay with them. By the 1980s, the Riddle house sat quiet. Its once grand architecture started decaying. No one was there to look after it, to clean it. Because of the house's history and reputation of being haunted, no one wanted to buy the house, and there was no one to look after the house. And so it just sat quiet. As time passed, the city planned to demolish the house. And that is when John Riddle, the nephew of Carl Riddle, came in between. He said that he wanted to save this house. He didn't want it to be destroyed. It was an important piece of history for him, and he wanted to save it. That is when he came up with an idea. He said that he would move the house to a new location. I know it sounds strange, but that's what he said. Riddle and his twin brother, Kenyon, later built the house on a 36-acre property just outside the city in 1935. John Riddle served as the chairman of the committee to save the Riddle house. Professionals estimated that if they have to move the house, then it would cost around $50,000. But John Riddle had another idea. He recruited 60 volunteers. Between August 12 and August 13 of 1995, the Riddle house was dismantled and moved to Yesteryear Village. The roof and attic were split into two, as were the first and second floors. The building was then reassembled in Yesteryear Village. With the help of a $450,000 state historical grant, the Riddle house was restored to its 1920s appearance. Can you imagine splitting a house into parts, carrying it all the way to another location, and then putting it back together just to look its 1920s self? Now remember why no one wanted to stay in the house in the first place. Because it was haunted. Now as the house settled into its new location, whispers started arising that the spirits that were there in the old location of the Riddle house had now come to the new location. It seemed as if the air around the house grew thick and the spirits had been awakened. They were not happy that the house was moved. Soon after the construction began at the new site, strange incidents started happening. Workers reported feeling this invisible hand pushing or poking them. Sometimes a mysterious force would tap them sharply on their helmets, as if it was a hammer. Tools and equipments that were kept in one place would disappear, and they would later be found somewhere else, scattered as if someone just threw them around. The house's windows also shattered suddenly, without any cause. The construction site became a backdrop for so many accidents that the workers stopped their work for 6 months out of fear. Somehow, going through all of this trouble, the Riddle House was finally ready to be opened to the public in its new location. During the opening ceremony, attendees said that they saw a couple that were dressed in the early 20th century fashion, that is, their early 20th century clothing. Many thought that these were hired actors. They came to give the house the early 20th century look. But later on, upon asking, the host said that they never hired any actors. No one was supposed to be there wearing these early 20th century clothing. People started looking around, and this couple seemed to have disappeared. No one knows where they went or who they were. The Riddle House is available for visit today, and visitors have said that they have experienced a lot of things. Objects have been thrown through the air. The ghost of an angry woman is said to haunt the kitchen. The ghost is known for shattering items and is said to even slap unsuspecting men. Also, people have said to have seen the ghost of a young boy wandering the halls, and it's as if he is just trying to figure out where he is. Some also said that they have seen the ghost of the Riddle employee who tragically ended his life in the house. It is said that they have seen something hanging from the attic rafters. That is the same place where the employee killed himself. The attic is said to be the most haunted place in the house, and that is why it is sealed off, its door is padlocked, and no one is allowed to enter there. Along with this, there are many other things that people have experienced over the years. Lights would turn on and off, mobile phones would lose power for no apparent reason. Sometimes people could also hear this slight music, 1920s music, that would drift through the air. Visitors have also said that they have felt as if someone had poked, shoved, or even pulled their hair. These incidents have all proven the fact that Riddle House is one of Florida's most haunted locations. This house's haunting has attracted so many people, paranormal enthusiasts, and even TV programs. During the broadcast, investigative crews have captured numerous inexplainable events, such as doors would close with force as if someone was pushing them, bells would start ringing, and there would be footsteps, but no one would be there. All of this is said to have been captured. On one particular occasion, the American flag just toppled over and fell down. No one knows how or why. People have also said that they have felt these cold spots in the house. Suddenly, everything would turn freezing cold and then just disappear. They also managed to record audio that chillingly resembled the voice of a child, even though no one was there at that time. Since its relocation to Yesteryear Village, the intensity of activity has increased. People believe that either the older spirits were angry that the house was moved, or when the house was moved, new spirits attached themselves to the house, and that is why the activity now is much worse than the activity that was there before. The question is, was moving the house a right decision? Should the house have been kept in its original place? I think it would have been destroyed if it was kept in its original place. So what mysteries does this place hold? Is it possible that when the house was dismantled and relocated, even more spirits attached themselves to it? Can spirits attach themselves to objects? Maybe the house is not haunted, but it is some object in the house that is haunted. There are so many more questions such as this. But even then, the answer is No one knows what happened in that house. No one knows how the house haunting started in the first place. No one knows who the first spirit was. And no one knows what would happen if someone goes to live in that house now. And no one knows what spirits are haunting that house right now. What do you think about the Riddle House? Would you dare to spend a night there? A big thank you to all my fellow listeners who have been listening and supporting this episode. Your reviews, your listens mean a lot. If you love this episode, if you love the stories that I put out, then please do leave a rating on whichever podcasting platform you're listening from. It would really mean the world to me. Other than this, I also have a YouTube and an Instagram page. I'll link it in the description. Do check it out. I have different stories on Instagram and I'm planning to put out some short horror stories on YouTube. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay tuned. I am also an author, love fiction stories. If you want to check out my free fiction book, I'll link it in the description. I'll also link my other account in the description where I talk about fiction writing, travel, and I also will soon start sharing fiction stories. So stay tuned. So do follow me there. Thank you so much for everything. That's all for this week. Stay kind, stay safe, and see you next week.